All right, we're gonna take a moment today to take care of our feet with our green Franklin ball. So pop that Franklin ball onto the floor and take a little inventory of how your feet feel on the floor before you start your session. I like to start with eyes closed and noticing how grounded do I feel in this moment? How connected do my feet feel into the floor? And how much ease do I have from my feet all the way up through the body, right to the crown of the head? Open those eyes once you've got your inventory, and we'll start with whichever foot you feel you'd like to, with a step and a press in the middle of the foot. So we're gonna step and press in 3 different locations, starting with the middle of the foot, with that ball directly underneath the long bones or the metatarsals of that foot. And with every step, my heel and my toes are connecting to the floor. I do have longer feet, so this won't be the same for everybody, but it's really pushing up in the center of my foot with toe and heel draping down. Then we're gonna move that ball more to the front of the arch, or the front of the heel rather. And I'm gonna turn my angle so that ball is right where the heel becomes the arch. Sometimes I'll refer to that as the heel pocket. And what we're stepping on there is your midfoot. So I know that doesn't always make sense because it's not the middle of your foot, but you're pressing through the midfoot bones. I'm just seeing if you can feel some movement in that area of the foot. And then lastly, we're going to step and press right under the base of the toes. So this will be our last step and press, where that ball is under the base of toes or under the knuckles. Now I like to try to keep my head in line with my spine and not look down too much. However, taking a peek from time to time and noticing, do I see the knuckles of my foot pressing up into the top side of my foot is a good indication that you've got good mobility there. And if you're not seeing those knuckles press up into the top of your foot, you can keep practicing. And then we'll end with a step and a roll. So pressing down into that ball and rolling out, I think of it as my foot no, and then coming back with no pressure and starting again. So making sure that you get that outside, the middle, and the inside of your foot can be a good strategy when you're rolling. And then we'll step off. Feet roughly hip joint distance apart. And we're gonna go back to that little scan. Noticing, do I have a different sensation through the foot that I've rolled out and stepped out? And does that sensation make its way up all the way through the leg, the trunk, the arm on that side, and maybe even through the neck and face jaw? Okay, so I'm feeling a lot more relaxed and grounded on the side that I have done my Franklin ball footwork, so let's do the second side. So I like to start again with that middle of the foot step and press. And you can see how my toes manage to kind of come to the floor. I'm not forcing it. It almost feels like that foot is draping over the ball. And you can notice your patterns here. You know, do I have more tension on the big toe side of my arch or the baby toe side? And also, is that pattern the same left to right? I find my feet quite typically need different attention in different places, left to right. And then we move that ball a little closer to the heel in that heel pocket zone. So right where that heel becomes the arch. So that is pressing through our midfoot. You're pressing with a pressure that's quite tolerable. So depending on how often you practice, you know, your floor foot might lift completely off as you're getting that deep pressure. But if you're looking for a little bit less pressure, feel free to do a partial step into the ball, knowing that your tolerance and your foot mobility will change over time. And then our last step and press is placing that ball under the base of the toes. And as best you can, letting the toes drape over the front of the ball. So it's common that the toes will kind of lift up into toe extension, but you're gonna do your best to have the toes be a little bit folded in toe flexion. And you can take a peek down and notice, are my knuckles, those 5 metatarsal heads is what they are, they're the head part of the long bone, are they pressing up into the top side of my foot? Some of us get, you know, a couple of them to lift up into the top side, but you know, with practice, with repetition, maybe you can get more. And then we'll go into our step and roll. And again, caught myself looking down for maybe a little bit longer, but rolling out through the outer, middle, and inner part of the sole of the foot. And as you pass through those sections, observing, does it feel different? Outside of foot, middle of foot, inside of foot. Step off, feet find the floor, and we can go into that body scan one last time, eyes closed, noticing the connection of feet to floor, noticing your sense of groundedness, connection of foot on floor, and then appreciating if there's been a change up the chain into legs, hips, back, neck, and head. And that is our Franklin Method Foot series. Enjoy.